Hey, Dental Nachos crew, it is Paul, Dr. Nacho, here with a JFO, Just Find Out, key resource and sponsor. We are in this very unique, crazy coronavirus time. I want to bring you guys resources that can help you in your practice. I have here my friend, key resource, also periodontist, smart move on becoming a periodontist, Dr. Scott Drucker, founder of the Supply Clinic. Welcome, Scott, and share with us what you guys do and how you help dentists.
Thanks, Paul. Happy to be here and really appreciate you hosting me. So I, several years ago, started a company called Supply Clinic, supplyclinic.com. And Supply Clinic is an online marketplace for dental supplies. So we offer transparent price comparing and host over 100 different sellers, over 50,000 different products. And the basic idea is we bring a normal online shopping experience into the world of dental. So for any given product that you're searching for, you can see who on the platform sells it and at what price. The shift in focus for us over the past few months, as you might imagine, has been super heavily towards the PPE world. And at first, as things kind of broke out in mid-March, we were very, very heads down trying to help get PPE to frontline workers at hospitals and help local governments that needed get the PPE. And over the past month or so, we've transitioned back to fully focusing on the dental community and helping get dentists back up and running with all the PPE they're going to need to see to treat their patients now.
We've been in contact. First of all, you really one up me on the beard here, Scott. I was going to shave some. But
I know.
I think I have to. I have to do the. This is big. We can talk about this. I got to go for my N95 fit test on Friday. When I shave, my daughter's like, "You look like you're 11," which is kind of a compliment. She doesn't say it that way as a compliment. Yeah, you about beard to be here.
I'm in the same boat, and I've had a beard for about 5 years, so this is a pretty big shave coming up.
Yeah. Now I want to ask you. So I was just talking with some people this morning. So I was thinking the best way I can explain this, and the Paul Goodman explained it to me like a 4-year-old scenario, is golf balls. Right? I played golf. So is this kind of like, right? We have golf ball manufacturers making golf balls.
Yep.
People that play golf. Okay. Is this kind of like, and correct me if I'm wrong, if like everybody needed to play golf and they didn't have enough balls to manufacture? Is that somewhat what's been happening over the past 10 weeks?
Yeah, it may be even more extreme than that. It's as if golf balls were suddenly used and necessary to build shelters or homes for people, and now there was massive demand for that, and every home requires many more golf balls than a game of golf. And you know, now golfers are scrounging around for a few golf balls for a game.
Owner, and I think this is great value for our community. I mean, as a practice owner, I have to buy stuff all the time. And it's just the first time in my 17 years, I'm like, well, I have money. Why can't I buy thing with money I have, right? Whether I'm using my personal fund to make the office run, that's besides the point. But right now, as we talk about this PP availability, where are we with the dental world? You know, different states are reopening, some are not reopening, some are doing it slowly, but we need these golf balls in dental practices, golf balls being the PPE, masks, gowns, gloves. As someone on the supply chain side, give us an update now as to where we are with this.
Yeah, I think we've made a lot of progress over the past month. Dental is now in the sort of bucket of potential recipients that is now high up on the emergent list, right up there with other healthcare providers that you know need to be treating patients in a time of crisis. That said, global supply is just still so far behind global demand, and so first we saw this with masks. That was that was the biggest issue, and now I think we'll start transitioning. I mean, there's still issues getting a hold of N95 masks and KN95 and what's authorized and what's not. That's a whole other topic we can go into. But I think things will slowly shift towards gowns, which are also deemed to be an essential piece of personal protective equipment that practitioners should be wearing. But we've definitely made noise, those in the community that to lobbying on behalf of dentists and dental needs. We're definitively not there yet. There's still massive shortages across the board. My understanding, I just heard yesterday, I don't know if this is in fact the case, but The Texas Dental Association supposedly received a large order from FEMA, and it turned out to be a whole bunch of masks that were not on the emergency use authorization list. And so, I think there's definite movement in the right direction. That said, I'm still relatively concerned about PPE being a rate limiting step for dentists transitioning back to practice.
Let's dig into this. So I was talking, it's not, using golf balls is a good example, but now we also have new things in our PPE world that we're not used to using in dental. So break it down for me, Scott. I'm ready. Hold on. I need to get ready for this conversation. I have some tequila here for myself. KN95 versus N95. I'm a huge Seinfeld fan. So what's the deal with KN95 versus N95? I'll just drink this tequila. You explain.
Yeah, great. I wish you had sent me one ahead of time. But yeah, so N95s versus KN95s. N95s are produced and generally tested here by NIOSH, and I forget exactly what the acronym stands for. But the NIOSH test is used to ensure that N95 masks meet the acceptable standards here in the States. And N95 masks have two, not ear loops, but bands that pull over behind the head and ensure a really secure seal around the face and the mouth. KN95s have ear loops and don't have as tight, they don't have a tight seal, but they are much more form fit than a regular level 1, 2, or 3 surgical mask, if that makes sense. Both the N95s and KN95s filter out 95% of particulate, hence the number in the name. But yeah, the N95 seal is by far and away the best, and it's considered the gold standard. However, given there's, obviously this massive shortage, the government has come along and said, okay, we want our practitioners and healthcare workers, et cetera, to be wearing the next best thing. So that may be KN95s. And we got into this extremely messy situation where I think all KN95s are produced in China. And a whole lot of just bad product, counterfeit product, et cetera, also came out of China. And so in the past 2 months, China has stepped up their game, putting sort of much more strict export requirements on those trying to export. At the same time, the U.S. government put out this what's called emergency use authorization list, which is that notorious list everybody's been checking and sending around.
Is it like this the one that I've heard recently we had like 80 manufacturers, but then got
knocked down
to 14?
It got knocked down to 14, and I don't quite understand how some got on that list in the first place. So there are hundreds, if not thousands, of manufacturers that are FDA registered manufacturers that produce KN95s that are also registered in the FDA database that didn't make that list in the first place, didn't make that list of 80. And then there were a whole bunch, like 65 or something, that got cut out from the list at some point. Presumably testing was done, and those 65 were found to be didn't meet standard or didn't pass the test. Why some made it onto the initial list and others didn't, I'm not sure. It seems super haphazard to me. Unfortunately, I know a ton of KN95s were sold into the dental space that were on that list at one point and are no longer on that list, and that creates, of course, anxiety and headache and frustration for both the buyers, so all the practitioners, and the sellers, because from our distributors, our network of distributors, from their perspective, hey, they were doing everything they had to along the way, dotting all their I's and crossing all their T's, and now everybody's mayhem has ensued.
As a practice owner of 17 years and all what I've been doing, and I want to break this down into my perception of how OSHA works as a practice owner. And I'm willing to have anyone jump in and say that's different, but I am the practice owner. I can wear what I want, but my employees have to be protected for OSHA with the right stuff. And it's just become confusing to figure out what this right stuff is. With Supply Clinic, if I said, hey, Scott, like, what can you guys deliver to the Dental Nacho verse, Dentist Now, so they can buy PPE for their team, for themselves, two different things here. Yeah. What are your most popular orders right now of stuff coming out?
Yeah, right now we have, we've hosted a whole bunch of KN95s. We actually do have N95s up at the moment. Supply is super limited, so maybe the first bunch of people that see this will be able to log in and order. But they are produced by a Taiwanese manufacturer, Make Right. All the certification is up on the product page, so you can see the, you can go to the NIOSH registry and see them on the list, and all that's up. So N95s are definitely, I'd say, the hottest of the moving items.
How much is an N95 mask per mask now, roughly?
I think on our site, depending on what kind of volume you buy, it's like $8 or $9 a mask, which, you compare those prices to prices in January, those are extreme. I think 3M is the only company that has not increased the sale price to their distribution network. That said, 3M has no masks in distribution network. So
analogy, I don't know if you golf, Scott. Yeah. My golf ball analogy fits so well here because sometimes I go to Dick's Sporting Goods and buy 2 boxes of golf balls that wind up being $2 a ball, or I forget and I have to buy them at the course. They wind up being $4 a golf ball. But either way, I need these golf balls to play golf. We need these things to play dentistry. And that's why that, the exact price per mask, at least I'm just sharing authentically as a practice owner, I'm more concerned about getting them to have.
Period. Yeah.
Cost per mask.
Absolutely. And in your analogy, it's as if Dick's Sporting Goods did not have access to those masks at all. And the only people selling the masks were the courses themselves, the country clubs or whatever themselves that, had a super limited supply. And that's sort of where we are today. So yeah, prices are extremely different. And it's something that I kind of want to, I know there's been a ton of frustration just looking at various Facebook groups about pricing, and people really quickly throw around, hey, this company's price gouging. It's really easy to jump and get upset about it. But most of the distributors can't buy these products at the prices none of them can buy the products at the prices they were paying before. So their cost for all the products has gone way, way, way up. And of course, that trickles down to higher costs for all practitioners.
People, Scott, I love our dentist people. I have my sign, TSD. That's so dentist, I think I have it here. They want to charge PPE to their patients because their costs have gone up, but then they turn and they have said this, we're kind of in this annoying Nacho plate together. Your website, just I'll chat for a few minutes, but your site is, what's the PPE part of your site? Share with us the link, supplyclinic.com /PPE. That's
the best place. Yeah, that's the landing page, supplyclinic.com /PPE. It's a neat little landing page that has all the different categories broken down, and you can click into any one of them and see what's available at that given time. Recommendation is if you don't see something that you're looking for at the moment, you can write into the team, let that, either call, chat in, whatever, let us know what you're looking for, so that we can kind of ping you whenever that product comes back in. But product availability is changing at a very fast pace. So if something's not available today, it may be back up tomorrow, and so on.
And as we wrap up, and I know you're going to be on our awesome podcast later, but in the JBR, just be real way, Scott, because we have to face the reality. Continuing with this golf ball analogy, what is the outlook? June, July, let's say 2020, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, just the rest of this game, this 18 holes. We get back to dentistry. What is the challenges of having enough PPE to dentists over the next 8 months as a supply guy yourself?
Yeah, I think I think purchasing supplies is going to be difficult in general. Most companies are going to have maximum, quantity limits on how much you can purchase at any given time. There are a couple of big pieces of advice that I give to anybody looking to stock up or best prepare themselves for practice. And the first one is open up your network of sellers, of distributors that you purchase through. Obviously I would love for everybody to come onto Supply Clinic and purchase, but expand beyond that, beyond your typical big box distributor. Literally shop around 5-10 different places and see where you can get products and purchase them when you can. Definitely be proactive about stocking up, making new relationships with new dental supply companies that you may or may not have been familiar with. The other piece of advice that I have is, if you're ordering and your office is not back up and fully operational 5 days a week, I would strongly consider ordering your PPE or any other supplies to a residential address. So to your home, to wherever, because what's happening now is we're seeing a ton of returns because UPS and FedEx are only doing one delivery attempt. And if they miss your delivery attempt, those products go right back to wherever they were purchased from. And it's just a headache for everyone. And, obviously shipping costs goes up, et cetera.
What are their, both your PPE and wine delivery, make sure they get it right during this pandemic or they're going to return it. So that's awesome, Scott. Thanks for sharing with us. Supplyclinic.com/PP. If someone wants to reach out to you directly, what's the best way for them to do that?
Yeah, they can just send me an email directly. My email is Scott, SCOTT, @supplyclinic.com.
Awesome, Scott. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for being an awesome key resource and sponsor. Man, you can take us off.
Absolutely.
We'll chat for a few minutes. Have a good rest of the day, Nacho Verse.